February 21st, she says, I have got the client list on my desk. So what is the holdup on the Epstein files? Could it be because Donald Trump and RFK Jr. were both very friendly with Jeffrey Epstein? I wonder about it. Where are the Jeffrey Epstein files? Now, those of you who listen to the show regularly know I've talked about this before. And it's not because I'm so interested in getting them, and I think they'll reveal something particularly important, but because many of the president's allies in the media have been clamoring for their release. And, you know, when it came to other file releases, they've moved quickly, right? JFK, RFK. So what is the holdup on the Epstein files? And so I continue to wonder, could it be because Donald Trump and RFK Jr. were both very friendly with Jeffrey Epstein? I don't know that, but I wonder about it. And I'll tell you why a little bit in a moment. But President Trump was asked about it again yesterday.
So when can we expect the Epstein documents to be released? The rest of them?
Which documents?
The Epstein files?
I don't know. I'll speak to the Attorney General about that. I really don't know. I know that we've done the RFK, the Kennedy, Martin Luther King is out there very shortly. So we'll find out.
But here's the reason why that's suspicious, right? According to the FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, a few weeks ago, he claimed that, quote, the director and I are working through many of the transparency issues. We're focused on getting this done the right way and as quickly and efficiently as possible. Many of these cases involve victims, both young and old, who we will not allow to be re-victimized by a rushed and sloppy effort. Okay. It makes sense, but it just doesn't feel consistent with what we've seen from this administration. And it is also so different than the way Bongino was talking literally the month before he said that.
And now with the DOJ flipping over, folks, if we don't uncover the full Epstein story, there is a huge hole in the follow the money, follow the influence picture.
Maybe. Look, FBI Director Kash Patel went even further, vowing in an interview with Glenn Beck late last year to release the Epstein files on day one.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is I mean, there's
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
the Black Book. It's not just sitting. I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
Okay. So that was before he became, of course, the FBI director. Now, President Trump said he would ask his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, about it. But we already know some of what she has said about it, right? Here's what she told Fox News' Jesse Waters now close to 2 months ago.
There are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims, 200. So we have over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
Except we didn't see almost any of that, right? She released almost nothing. And that led to a lot of backlash, mostly from the right. But think about the timeline, right? February 21st, she says, I have got the client list on my desk. 6 days later, she says the FBI withheld documents from her. Why? And then about a month later, so we're now coming to end of March, the Attorney General said this on Fox News.
Tens of thousands of pages of documents and hundreds of victims of Jeffrey Epstein. So the FBI, they have been working round the clock at my directive, at Kash Patel's directive. Now Dan Bongino's there, who is a great asset for all of us at the FBI as well. But yeah, we have to protect their identity, their personal information to make sure they're safe. But other than that, we are releasing all of these documents as soon as we can get them redacted to protect the victims of of all of these horrific crimes that he committed.
Right around the same time she said that, late March, there were numerous reports about FBI agents supposedly working through the night to redact material and get that material out. That was a month ago. Now, I don't know that that means anything. We may get the release tomorrow, right? And some of you will call in and say, see, Dan, came out. They just needed time. It may be. But here's what we do know, right? We've seen video of Donald Trump and Epstein chatting it up and laughing at a party in 1992 at Mar-a-Lago with a room full of NFL cheerleaders talking about how hot one woman was. There's a photo of the two at Mar-a-Lago in 97. Another in 2000, you see Ghislaine Maxwell, his co-conspirator, and Melania Trump in that one. And then there are the flight logs, right? That's what was supposedly going to be released. Last year, Trump said on social media, I was never on Epstein's plane or at his stupid island. Except that flight logs released in 2021 as part of Ghislaine Maxwell's trial showed Trump flew on the plane 7 times over the course of the 90s and early 2000s. Why would he lie about that? Now, Trump told New York Magazine in 2002, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. That was before there were any public allegations against him. He's a lot of fun to be with, he said. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Now, not surprisingly, he's since distanced himself from Jeffrey Epstein, but are they trying to figure out how to release certain material without potentially embarrassing either the president or some of his allies? I don't know. I don't know that to be true. But it wasn't just the president who flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was on the private jet on at least 2 occasions, once in 93 and then again a year or 2 later, according to Kennedy. Both, of course, are downplaying their ties, right? And by the way, I'm not suggesting, there were prominent Democrats. Clinton, apparently more than 24 flights on Epstein's plane. Bill Gates met with Epstein at his Manhattan townhouse a number of times. But it all just does make you wonder, right? But to be clear, there is no evidence of President Trump or RFK doing anything illegal or even improper with Epstein at this point. But with right-wing activists calling for the release of the Epstein files, it just continues to make me wonder. Because sooner or later, they're going to have to deliver at least some of it, right? And obviously, if they try to cover for anyone, I've got to believe someone who's seen all of the documents will call them out on it, right? Because remember, it was the previous administration that had the documents before them. It was the other DOJ. So if there was some effort at a cover-up, you can count on the fact that someone else who'd worked on it would say, I've seen something that they're not releasing. And of course, they say the cover-up can be worse than the crime. I don't know, but considering how quickly this administration has moved on so many things, and all you're talking about doing is redacting names of, let's even say it's 200 victims. That takes some time, but 2 months?